Dailah, welcome to Keeping It Real for Christ. Thank you so much for taking up your time. Uh, uh, all I know is you are Jesden's wife, and that's about it. So I'm so excited to hear your story and to hear your testimony. I really enjoyed Jesden coming on the show, and I'm now looking forward to hearing what your story is about. I can bet it's going to be a blockbuster. So really looking forward to it. Why don't you just introduce yourself, your name, who you are, and yeah, just fire off.
Yeah, so I'm Dailah. I am originally from the Netherlands
Uh-huh.
and I'm 26 years old. So a bit more than a year and 4 months or something. Justin and I got married. So
Uh-huh.
then I left the Netherlands. Um, I am a music writer and I write songs. Um, and yeah, Yahweh is my God.
Nice. Nice. So you're a songwriter. What type of music do you write? What would you
What
say
type of
is,
music do I
yeah,
write?
what type is like a what genre, should I say?
Yeah, so do you know the scripture like sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs?
Yes.
So it's psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs.
It's just that
So
basically.
I write, yeah, I write, I believe it's testimony songs. It's like sometimes I write like it's a prophetic song, and that's what the Spirit wants to speak like right now. Worship songs like to glorify God. Also like songs just with his word in it. Like there's like wisdom in it and that from God.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes it's like heart cry songs, so like just real yeah, honest songs like psalms actually, like psalms, like when David
Yes.
cries out to the Lord. Um, yeah, so those that kind of songs, yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So we've established that you're a songwriter, but let's take it all the way back because you said you're from the Netherlands, right? So let's take it all the way back
Yeah.
to where you grew up in the Netherlands, how and who and what and all that kind of stuff. Just take us back all the way to your childhood, and just tell us a bit more about how you grew up.
So, well, I grew up with my mom being a believer. She came to faith when I was about 1 year old.
Oh,
Um, my dad is not a believer, and we lived in a small village in the Netherlands. Um, and I have a sister. She's like a year and a half younger than I am, and
hmm,
uh, yeah, we grew up together. My mom um, raised us up with Bible, with God, and I also, like as a child, I really believed in God, and um, I knew He was there. There was a time that I heard His voice. I felt safe with Him. I knew He was God, and I knew He was real.
wow,
Um,
from a very young age, yeah.
yes, yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it says in Scripture, like right when uh or if the father or the mother either is a believer, like then the children are sanctified or holy. It's something like that. So like he was, yeah, he was there because he was in my mom, and I
Hmm.
knew he was. Yeah,
And how was that
yeah.
for you then, the fact that your mom was a believer but your dad wasn't? How did that translate to you then?
To me personally,
Hmm.
um, so as a child, uh, yeah, as a child, I don't know for sure. Fully dealt with it. But I knew yeah, I still had to deal with some things like how I thought in my mind because when I was younger, like I would also go against my mom and I would also persecute my mom. Like uh, yeah, there were also things in me and like I did not have righteous judgment.
Okay.
Um, I believe I did not have righteous judgment. like how God really saw things, and maybe as a child, like God gave me the grace to see things more. But uh, yeah, what I found hard is to see um, who is actually in the wrong, who is actually in the right, um, and like, well, yeah, that I think that is the main thing, is like who is actually in the wrong, who is actually in the right. I know my mom believes in God, so
Hmm.
um, God is like, there's God. I need to be with God, but like my dad makes mistakes, my mom makes mistakes.
Hmm.
How do I how do I see how do I
Right.
see this? So I
Wow.
think that is, yeah, I think that is like a big main thing, big thing.
And it was you and your younger sister. Did you say just you two?
Yeah, yes.
And was she a believer as well from a young age?
So yeah, I believe she also knew that God was there, that she believed in God.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So how did your dad then end up being? Is he now a believer, or how did that end up being?
No. He's not a believer. No.
Okay. 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 And so tell me more about school. How was that for you then as a believer? How did you're at a young age, you started serving God from a very young age, and sometimes I know that sometimes in schools it can be very challenging, isn't it? So,
Yeah, so I don't know if I started serving God from a young age. I don't know. Um, uh, how was school for me? Yeah, I think what what it was with me is that I just really started following people. Um, and I had fear of, like, that I had like a big deep fear of men, actually, and not really a fear of God.
mm,
Um, and that I knew God was there. I believed in him. Yeah, like I at school I was really like a follower, actually, follower of the I was in the popular group. um or like yeah, but I was a follower in the popular group. But in my heart, like I actually I did have like a heart for like sort of unity, like, oh, we all like I want to be friends with everybody. But yeah, like this how do you say that, like this yeah, no, you had just cliques, you call it
like,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was part of this clique, um, and yeah, I was a follower there. I think that's how I can describe it.
Mm.
Um, and,
That's
uh,
quite interesting
also,
because it's like I mean, you sounded like as if you knew that God was there, but a part of you was a bit of a follower as well and stuff. Why do you think that fear of man came upon you like that? Why do you think that?
um, that's a really good question. um, it's a really good question. I think I actually don't know the answer to that. Why
That's fair
it
enough. Yeah, yeah.
it came. I think it's spiritual also. I think it was spiritual. I think also that to do like just how I was.
Mhm.
And yeah, I actually I don't have a really deep good answer to your question
No, that's fine.
about like why did it have so much
Yeah, 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 yeah. Understandably, sometimes we don't really know the answer to everything, isn't it? So that's fine. So you were in school, you were obviously in the popular groups, but you're a follower.
yeah. So I yeah,
So tell me more. And then, so
yeah.
how did you get along through school and all that? Tell me more about that.
So I like how I was, that I was like also like hard to be really social, friends with everyone. Like the teachers would say to my parents that I was like special because I was and social and really um a fast learner, like intelligent.
Okay.
Um so and they didn't see that mostly together. Mostly it was like either one or the other. And and I had their both. So like I went through school, like I could really learn fast. I got good grades. I had friends,
Wow.
and uh, yeah, that. And then like the end of so in the Netherlands we have then I think it's called primary school, like the in it, like it's the uh 8, yeah, 8 years. You're in this school, and then you go to high school
Yeah.
when you're 12.
Uh-huh.
So at the end of the first school, the primary school, the 8 years, um, I was really like ready. Okay, next phase in my life. I want to let go. I want just the next phase in my life. I was not really someone who was like, I want to keep my friends and like go with them. I was someone who like I just like let it behind me and
Wow.
something new. I think that was my personality. Um, so yeah, that was what I wanted. So I think in my life I also hurt people with that actually, because I was not really loyal. I was not like I would rather like, okay, we bared with each other like this much. Now just let it go because I cannot. Like it's now it's like too much build up. So now new, like just new people.
Really?
um,
That's quite interesting. So you could
yeah.
literally cut off relationships just so quickly like that and just crack on and move on with your life.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you
Yeah.
think that is?
I think because, well, what I've learned is because this is something that God worked in me, like when I became born again. I think because I let things build up, uh, and I don't speak out things what need to be dealt with. I don't give my part, and like, um, uh, and then like all these things that have been happening are built up in me, and then I don't know what to do with it. So I think I just got
Cut it off.
hardened, like.
Right.
uh by
Yeah.
but then also like uh there was also something like in me, like I still want to be friends with that person, but I just don't know how. I don't know how to deal really with things. um so yeah, that's the main reason. Yeah.
Wow. So you went to high school ready to meet new friends. And how did that go for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, that was really good. I met new I met new friends. But then in high school also a lot of things happen, of course. Like then you also have cliques, and they're the popular people, and people who are like more alternative, and I had this thing, I want to be friends with everyone. But then I was again in the sort of popular girl group. And uh yeah, then like I wanted to go like to everyone, like, ooh, there, and then but people wanted me in their group, which I also understood because I just wanted to be like everywhere. uh and yeah, there's yeah. So it was the same. I think I was learning more about like also being myself, and less people pleasing.
Mm.
But still, that was going on. Yeah, I got a boyfriend for 2 weeks in the first year of high school. Um, it was really, yeah. I think that's where also I really I started wanting to go away from the faith.
Oh.
Because uh, like there were so many things. I was really had really a big draw towards the world. Um, and I was super insecure about who I was. I didn't know who I was, but what was my part in like in all these things. And I still believe like God was there. But there I came, like, yeah, there was just a big draw of the world. But yeah, that drew me actually. So I went going to parties, and I started drinking, and um, I started going into sexual immorality. I started kissing with boys, um, and yeah, I just got like totally tucked up in the world more and more, in sin, more and more, and started like, yeah, lying to my parents, actually not telling my parents what I was doing. I was drinking, that I was actually going on, and yeah, I just was there like I just got sucked into the world,
And
and because of my choice also, because I knew I wanted to try all these things out. I wanted to actually, and also uh, personally, like what was lacking in my faith is like, okay, I know God is there, but I know that the Christian faith is built on Jesus, but I actually don't know who Jesus is to me. I don't know. So instead of seeking him, I went seeking love in different places,
mm,
seeking security in different places, seeking who I am in different places. Uh, so that was high school. It was more and more towards
wow.
the world. Yeah.
And how were you feeling as a person? Because you're telling me like as in you're quite insecure and all that kind of stuff before that anyway. So now you're getting into all these kind of like relationships, sexual relationships and all that. How did that make you even feel as a person inside?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think I struggled with my body image, with eating problem, and I just wanted sort of a, yeah, justification of my body. And like I wanted validation, actually. I really wanted validation. And uh so being with guys and going to sexual immorality actually gave me some of that for a short period of time. So that's why I actually enjoyed it. And also how it also made me feel was there, like when girls like started kissing with guys and stuff, and when it became more and more, then they it would also be called slut and stuff. So I was also like, yeah, I think I'm a slut also, but like don't call me that, because like just keep your just also a bit like angry, like, yeah, let me live my life. But also, yeah, I think it became more that and that and that. Uh, and that I did feel I enjoyed it, but I did like it was just really confusing, I think. Just really confusing um how I felt. I didn't really care maybe anymore how I personally felt. I didn't really know how I felt. This
Mm,
was just um this was just what I knew to do. Um uh this was just what I knew to do. I knew, so for example, like my mom did really teach me like intimacy is for marriage. But how I like made it in my mind is like, okay, only intimacy, like the full thing is for marriage, but everything else, kissing and all these things else, you can do that. Um so that I think that was what, like, that I was trying to justify myself with, that like, oh yeah, it's not that bad, it's just like uh this is what I'm doing right now.
yeah,
um
yeah.
yeah, so I actually enjoyed it. But I also was sad and really looking for validation, and I really wanted love, and I wanted something safe and stable,
Mm.
uh that I didn't find. So I did like this, that was like, there was an emptiness. Yeah.
So Dailah, have you ever sort of like now that obviously you're older now, have you ever looked back and thought why was there such a desire for like that validation, that this and that? Where did that all come from?
Why is there why was there such a desire for validation?
Sorry, I'm
um
throwing also questions to you, and it's just
no, 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 this is good, because like when you ask me, then like if there's something that uh like I don't know yet, and that I actually should like ask God about,
mm,
then that's good. um, why was there such a yeah? So when I think, like, I think we need Jesus' righteousness, right? So we need some sort of validation of who we are. I needed some sort of validation of that I was good enough, that I was uh, that I was me, who I was. Like I just needed some sort of validation of my identity,
Mm,
and um, and I think that's all what we're seeking for, but that's only found in God. So um, I think it came from there, like just the reality of the world, like. We're guilty before God and we all have sinned and we need forgiveness and we need to uh yeah we need to be reconciled to God and like what we are made for, like to be actually with him, to be his child, and to receive his righteousness and to see that Jesus has died for us, and for our sins, and that uh he has the righteousness, he has the justification that we actually need. um so I think it comes. I think it comes from there. It came from there. Like I just uh
yeah,
yeah,
quite interesting, isn't
validate.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Sometimes I think when we're struggling with identity, we look for it in so many different places,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you see a lot of us when we're young, or you see a lot of in schools and stuff. There's a real identity crisis there.
yeah,
And sometimes it can also come from parents, because sometimes especially like with boys, if they're not close to their fathers and stuff, and there's that kind of like identity crisis. Am I man enough? Am I this and that? With girls, again, sometimes with the father as well, sometimes I don't feel, my dad never tells me I'm beautiful, my things like that, so am I beautiful enough? Am I enough? What I mean, kind of thing. Or if someone doesn't see it being exemplified in their house, sometimes they're like, what is love? What does that look like? What does that, things like that. It comes from so many different things, but it's also mainly comes from the fact that if we're not reconciled with Christ, we end up being in a place where we are seeking validation from so many other things in this world that will never fulfill us, unfortunately. And that's just the reality of it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I
So,
think that's also through parents and how like how their marriage is and how they treat you, of course. And um so what I'm thinking now, what in my heart was a big thing is thankfulness and contentment.
mm,
um because I really was like I I just wanted to make problems also, sort of like I wanted a story. I wasn't just content with what my life was and how I who I was and what my surroundings were actually they, like I was really blessed. I was really blessed with my parents. They're really amazing. I was blessed with my friends. I was blessed with school. I was blessed with so many things. And also yeah, like only God can satisfy, but even like God was there. I could find God if I wanted to, if I really sought for him.
mm,
um so I think like that I just wanted more, I wanted more, I wanted more, is also like something yeah, covetousness is called. Like
yeah.
I wanted more than I had. I was so a big thing. What I found out is that I was jealous of people who have been through trauma because they had a story.
Wow.
And then it could be like then they got attention, and I wanted
Wow.
also attention. Um, so I would draw just like brokenness on me. Well, it actually wasn't mine. Um, to also have a story. I know I had this desire to have a story. I want a story. I want a story. Um, but I don't have a story because my life is so boring.
Ah,
And I think that was also the thing why I like uh, yeah, that I was just looking for yeah, in all the wrong places for what I
mm,
wanted, not just
mm.
being content with what God had given me.
Yes. Wow. So through high school, so you were in high school and all these things are happening, boyfriends, friends, and yada yada yada. So tell me more. So what happened then after that?
On high school, so in high school, um, yeah, I also had like good grades. I finished high school, it was good. And then after that was also again like, oh, new start somewhere else. So that's also like, yes, nice. Um, and uh, So then I went to university and I studied psychology.
Okay.
And in Leiden, it's a city in the Netherlands, really like a city where a lot of students live.
Oh.
And yeah, yeah. And so what is there is really there's all these student associations, like societies, all different ones. Um, and I went to live there in a house with other students, and
Mm.
um, yeah, there are new friends, also some old friends still from my high school.
High school, yeah.
Yeah, yes, and even from primary school, also some. But yeah, mainly I wanted to just be like in the new thing again. But there, like, yeah, well, the student life is so much also partying and drinking, and even more so I went even more into drinking, yeah, getting really drunk, not forgetting what happened, even more into sexual immorality, um and yeah, just like in the emptiness actually, and still believing that God was there, but I just had distanced myself from him. Um, and yeah, then after a year, I became part of a Christian society because I wanted something Christian in my life again. I was like, it's time. I want something Christian in my life again.
Wow.
So
So
I
hold
became,
up. So
yeah,
you just decided I'm going to go to a Christian union, basically. That was it.
yeah,
You just woke
yeah.
up one day and just decided that.
So how it was actually is that I was part of a student association, like not Christian, really like alternative and a bit artsy and like and just really but not at all Christian. We're really like really free in everything. So I was part there. And then there was a guy there actually, and he was part of that society and also of the Christian society.
Ah.
So at that place, he was sometimes talking about, yeah, I'm also part of um uh also part of navigators it is. And it's yeah, that's a Christian society, and he would share that there. And then like he also knew that I also sort of believed in God, and the friend where I had a friend there also from my high school was also part of the society, like the free society. We were talking with him, and she was asking about the Christian society,
Mm.
uh, and then then he started sharing, and then she said, um, "Oh, I think I wanna try that." Uh, and when she said that, I was like, huh, I also want that.
Oh.
Um, so I think something still with that. I was following people also a bit, or I don't know exactly. But from there, I wanted to be part of that society. Um, also, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we're gonna carry on from there in a minute. But what I just want you to ask you to do before we get into part two, Dailah, is speak to a young lady like you right now who'll be watching this, who's struggling with identity, struggling a bit with uh, body image, low self-esteem, understanding who they are and all that kind of stuff. And speak to that young lady now who probably feels lost and probably thinking it's probably best to find a boyfriend so then I can feel better about myself and all that. What would you say to that young lady now?
Um, yeah, I would say that. Well, that touches me actually. Yeah, I would say that God sees you, and really you have to seek everything in him, seek in
Mm,
him.
mm,
Yeah, I think like because I had to think about God. Yeah, God gave me a song in that time also actually,
wow.
and it's called I See You.
Mm,
And there, like, it's also sometimes God speaking. And I think like then he came and said, I see you, I see you, and yeah, oh, he says that like I've made you beautiful, I've made you wonderful, and I've made you unique, and I've made you you.
Mm,
Well, thank you for asking a question.
mm,
Yeah, so uh, yeah, then God made you you, and like the only person to go to about like questions about who you are um is your maker.
mm.
Um, and you can better start doing it right now because everything else is just gonna make you more confused and more confused and more believing in lies, and then you have to deal with that later, like getting all those lies out. So yeah, just immediately like go to God and just say, Lord, um, I don't know who I am. Will you show me? I don't know who you are. Will you show me? Um, and ask Him to save you from your sins, because that's who Jesus is. He saves us from our sins, um, and that's the real problem. The real problem is not people around you. It's not the surroundings you're in. The real problem is not your feelings or anything. The problem is your sin and the lies you believe. And uh, the solution is found in God and in the truth in Jesus Christ. And He's the one who sees you, and He knows what you need, and He is enough. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. We're going to pause and we're going to come back again to part two. Okay. But I love the way you ended that. It's quite powerful. And even the way you just said, God sees you, that ministers to me too, And now I'm a grown man married with children, but to hear that is actually quite powerful. And sometimes we don't pause to just meditate on that He knows you and He sees you and He sees the cry in you, and He sees the brokenness in you, and He sees the desire to be loved. He sees everything that anyone else would never even imagine of you. He sees it. He sees it, and He sees you, and He can
Yeah.
see you right directly through you. Whereas we can mask it, and man, sometimes we can, we are very good at sometimes masking it, and people will never know. But He sees all that. He sees the brokenness. He sees the loneliness. He sees everything. I
Yeah.
love that. I really love that. I really love that. But we're going to pause and we're going to go straight back into part two, okay?
Yeah, that's good.